way. He attacks and smokes one to deep left. This one's going supersonic. That is out of the ballpark. Whoa! Over the train tracks, it's 3-0 Atlanta. And Jorge Soler lands the first punch here in the top of the third inning.
The Braves are gonna have another year like they did in 95.
0-2. Come on now. Smith comes set of the tomahawk. 0-2 on the way. Chopper out to Dansby. Dansby throws to first base. Is this happening? It is! The Atlanta Braves are world champions. The Atlanta Braves have won the 2021 World Series in 6 games over the Houston Astros. Pure euphoria down on the field as they're bouncing all over the infield. And in the booth.
No trash can juice today. The wait is over. Your Atlanta Braves are world champions. Now decked out in pearls and tomahawks. Your favorite Braves fans on this side of the Duck River. Here's the Hall of Famer Mo Patton and Chris Yao.
Welcome into a wonderful Wednesday edition of Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. I will tell you, this show is a lot better when you wake up a fan of the world champion Atlanta Braves. Man, what a night. What a game. What a performance from this Atlanta franchise throughout the entire postseason and from, well, August 1st on, to be honest with you. A fantastic season. One to remember. The 30 for 30 is going to be fun, I can tell you, because if they go back to 2014, 2015, when we traded Jason Hayward and everything else and just went straight back to the rebuild with Copy and all that, man, it's going to be great. Mo, I know the answer to this question, but how you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling better than I have in a while. You know, it was almost one of those deals where I woke up this morning and it's like that really just happened last night. You know,
I'll tell you about this dream I had last night. It was great.
Go figure. Yeah, yeah. It's funny. So I left here and met Jody up at B-Dubs up in Cool Springs because, well, you've met Ashley Gillis.
Mm-hmm.
And the parents of one of my former ball players were celebrating his birthday 9 years after he was killed in a car wreck in February of 2012. And something they do every year, and we go. But anyway, we were there and watching the ball game, and there was a guy sitting behind me, some random guy. And he was cheering as hard for the Braves as I was. And so when I got up to leave, I looked at him and said, "I'm leaving this with you." He said, "I'm going to bring it home." I said, "All right, then." So I don't know who he was, but he brought it home. So kudos to the random guy at B-Dubs in Cool Springs for getting it done last night.
That's an interesting choice of song from JP there because Jorge Soler's ball actually missed the train. It went over the tracks that was headed back to Georgia and ended up in an apartment party, apparently.
Well, and it's interesting how it ended up in the apartment party, apparently, because there was a fence that had to be jumped to retrieve the ball, apparently.
Wow.
But, yeah, somebody went and got it. I assume they were Astros fans, but
one would assume.
Yeah, but they got the ball, so.
Well,
I'm surprised the ball was in one piece because I thought it
just obliterated.
Knock the hide off of it?
Yeah, I thought it just exploded into powder.
It looked like the gender reveal.
Like the gender reveal.
That you were just talking about yesterday, man.
Yeah.
What an insane baseball game. We're going to talk a lot more about it in later in the show. We do have some top stories that kind of all fit into one. Really, it's one top story with 3 characters. Very odd. But before we do that, we need to give you the few results we have and today's schedule on the rundown.
This is the Rundown.
In Tuesday, junior college men's basketball action, Columbia State opened their season with a 93-79 win over the Cumberland junior varsity team, 93-79 Chargers.
In a Game 6 of the World Series, Major League Baseball, Atlanta defeated Houston, taking a 4-2 win in the series. 7-0 was the final score. And in NHL action last night, the Preds with a George Plaster double play, completing it in overtime, 3-2. That's 4 in a row for the Preds. They defeated Calgary last night.
In today's bowling action over in Savannah, the Wildcats of Lawrence County are on the lanes against Hardin County. In NBA action tonight, Memphis hosts Denver. That game starts at 7 o'clock, and we presume it will be shown on Valley Sports South.
That's right. And there is college football tonight, and that is Central Michigan at Western Michigan at 6 o'clock tonight on ESPNU, and Northern Illinois, Kent State, also at 6 on ESPN2.
Action continues.
Action continues. That's going to do it for the rundown on Southern Middle Tennessee Sports today. So, as I guess we could talk, we can mention it. COVID has kind of found its way out of at least high school sports in Tennessee, except for one glaring omission, and that is Johnson County, who apparently found out they have multiple COVID cases.
Enough to not play.
Enough to not play Alcoa. So
yeah, they I guess they found out on Saturday or Sunday after falling to Unicoi County in their regular season finale.
Yeah.
So must have been the quick tests.
It must have been. I'm not sure which one they found out who they were playing and got real sick real quick. It is what it is. But they're not the only ones with COVID, because Aaron Rodgers apparently has tested positive for COVID and is out versus Kansas City, also unvaccinated. So that kind of throws a wrench into some things. Be interested to see how that goes. But he will not play against Kansas City. Apparently, he had appealed to the league before the season about his. He said he had alternative treatment and was asking if that would be sufficient to serve as his vaccination.
And apparently, it wasn't.
Well, I mean, he did follow masking protocols and that sort of thing, but he didn't wear masks during his press conferences, post game and such. So I don't know. It's a weird situation. All I know is he's not playing Sunday. There's no Rodgers Mahomes on Sunday, no State Farm title, no belt will be handed out. Jake will.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Will Jake be there?
Perhaps Jake will play quarterback because I don't know who the Packers quarterback is. Is all the receivers out too still, or?
I don't know. Jordan Love, I think, is.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
Oh,
forgot about him.
That should be interesting.
So with the Packer fans.
Yeah.
You're gonna get a reminder though.
I mean, if Devontae Adams isn't back.
Well, they didn't have Devontae last week. They didn't have Valdez-Scantling last week. They lost their tight end last week, Tanyan. So, might be a good game for Rodgers to miss.
Well, exactly. Still got Randall Cobb and apparently Amari Rodgers, both of whom are on my fantasy team's bench. It is what it is. Aaron Rodgers not the only one with COVID. Apparently, Sidney Crosby, Penguins superstar, not only has COVID but has shown symptoms. So that's not great. And he has been vaccinated. So I'm not sure. I mean, I assume this is just until he's able to get negative tests or whatever, but it's certainly interesting how each different league is, the NBA with Kyrie and how the NFL has handled Aaron Rodgers with Sidney Crosby and how the NHL handled the situation out in San Jose with the guy with the fake vaccination card. And I mean, it's just interesting how these pro leagues have handled COVID this year. there's not like a uniform. Here's what it is. You know
Well,
what I mean?
I think each of these leagues kind of works in a vacuum. And,
Sure.
And it would seem that they would benefit from
A uniform.
some sort of at least exchanging ideas, because they're all dealing with a lot of the same situations.
Same
you would think.
situations, typically the same cities for the most part. And what's surprising to me is, all of them are, I assume they're all working in conjunction with CDC and other health officials. So are they not all getting the same information to make these uniform blanket policies?
One would think.
Like, I understand, like, there's some like contact sports. There are contact sports that you just don't have a lot of contact in, in one thing or the other. Like in baseball, you just don't. I mean,
Right.
it's very socially distanced. But football, hockey, and basketball, pretty well contact sports.
Yeah, pretty close proximity to each other during the course of those.
It's weird. And Keontae Johnson, the Florida player who collapsed on the floor last year, he is eligible through his insurance for a $5 million payout. But
To collect that,
yeah,
he has to not play again, right?
that's right. And
He's probably not ready to make that commitment.
and I don't know what the timeline on that decision is, but yeah, I mean, it would he was pro bound. So to this point, he's been, acting as a quote coach for Florida. He's just he's out there helping the guys out, trying to, keep them up to speed, and he's keeping himself up to speed,
Sure.
that sort of thing. So it's interesting. I don't blame him for being a little
Hesitant.
because $5 million is not anywhere close to what he probably would have made throughout a career in the National Basketball Association. So, speaking of the National Basketball Association, real quick, have you seen this non-interview with Scottie Pippen from the New York Times?
No.
It was fantastic. The author posted his transcripts, and Scottie he completely walked back everything he said on the Dan Patrick show about Phil Jackson being a racist, and
How do you unring that bell?
well, he tried. So anyway, it's a mess. Obviously, Scottie ripped Michael for the timing of the release of The Last Dance and that sort of thing. So I feel like Scottie
I'm sure
needs to,
Michael cares what Scottie has to say about that.
he doesn't, and that's anyway. There's a lot to unpack in that, and perhaps we'll get into it later this week, maybe next week. I don't know, but it's interesting. When we come back, we're going to dig into this Braves win and this season. So stick around. Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today returns to the Lee Company studio after this. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
Fast Stop Markets is a full-service, family-owned convenience store chain located in 14 locations throughout Middle and West Tennessee. For those in our listening area, you can find them in Columbia, Centerville, Lawrenceburg, Spring Hill, Dixon, and White Bluff.
Fast Stop partners with wholesale fuel brands like Shell, Marathon, and Exxon, delivering a consistent customer experience that is fast, friendly, and clean. If it's not already, it will soon become your go-to store to shop in town or on the road. Fast Stop Markets is proud to be keeping you moving in Tennessee.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ned Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com. Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Covering the teams you care about. It's Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Once again, live from the Lee Company studio. With the Hall of Famer Mo Patton, here's Chris Yao.
Welcome back into Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint. It wasn't a dream, man. The Atlanta Braves really did win a world championship last night. We're going to talk all about it right here, right now. There's a lot to get into because we talked about on this show yesterday, about Max Fried having figured it out in Game 2 in innings 3, 4, and 5. And he did not disappoint. We compared him to Tom Glavine. He did not disappoint. In everything that Max Fried could have done to extend this series, he did none of it.
And he certainly had the opportunities.
It is incredible to me how that guy has become the bona fide ace of this staff.
And he kind of did it under duress.
He was thrown into it.
Because
like, dude,
that was supposed
you're the guy, sorry.
That was supposed to be Mike Soroka. And may still be.
Can you imagine? Gosh.
I don't want to get too far into that at this point because I really want to just bask in this right here, right now. But it's going to be interesting to see what that 2022 roster looks like.
I am very interested to see how this team that we currently have and that we put on the field last night. Terrence Gore, by the way, apparently has won 2 world championship rings since his last at bat in the major leagues. I mean, that's pretty impressive.
I don't think he'll be part of that 2022 roster.
I don't,
by the way.
Obviously. But there are a lot of question marks surrounding this team. You know, what do you do with the 5 outfielders? Because until June 1st, you only have your 4, right? Well, I guess
Depends.
It depends on what you're doing with Pache and Waters and any of those other guys. I mean,
I think if you can keep all those guys that you acquired, you have to.
Yeah, I agree.
But
Two of them specifically.
which 2?
Soler and Rosario. I know. Don't let Duvall get away again. Yeah, I get it. But I mean, if I'm picking 2, I'm picking those 2. If I can only pick 2, if I'm picking 3, I'll throw Duvall in. But
that's
neither here
fair.
nor there.
But the next question, and I just said I didn't want to get too far into this, but
I was just about to rein you both
I'm sorry.
back in.
Thank you.
but
Please do that.
Well, let me ask this one question before you rein us in, before you hit the bell. If you're keeping Rosario and Soler, then when RAJ gets back, who's where? Specifically, who's in center?
I guess Ronnie would be.
I don't know if that's really what they want.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Okay. All right.
last night, Jorge Soler, pretty much, I mean, when he hit the home run, I thought, well, there went my MVP pick.
Who had you picked?
I had Riley. I'd bet on Riley. Just thinking that he was going to get enough RBIs and hits and probably could have if, he wasn't getting strikes called 3 inches off the plate. But who knows? Dude hit that a mile. And it was at that point, and with all that I had seen through 2 innings, I knew Max hasn't even thrown his changeup yet. His curveball has been few and far between because he's been locating the fastball so well. They're not hitting it. I mean, they had 2 runners on in the first inning, and the ball never got out of the infield. I mean, you knew that all of the little things were going the Astros' way early. The ball that Rosario hit should have been a double. Tucker makes a great play. Every little thing was going their way. So as soon as Soler hit that moonshot, I knew that was going to kind of deflate the Astros balloon.
And it's interesting that, especially in light of the fact that in the last game, Braves hit a first inning grand slam, and Houston somehow managed to, overcome that. You go home, you give up a 3-run home run, and that's a straw that broke your back right there. I guess maybe because of the way Fried was pitching. I don't know.
Because it wasn't a bullpen game. You didn't feel comfortable. You knew that what he did to you in Game 2, he'd already done it to the top half of the lineup in Game 5 or Game 6.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot less confidence that, hey, we're going to score runs on this team tonight.
But this is the top scoring offense in Major League Baseball.
But you could tell it. You could just tell that they were frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
And then when Dansby, and just like you said yesterday, it's going to be Dansby, right? When Dansby hits the 2-run homer, that was pretty much it. I mean, at that point, I was I was trying not to put the cart before the horse because it's still Atlanta sports. But I wasn't nervous. I wasn't living and dying on every pitch like I was the first couple of innings after Soler. And then after Dansby, I was just like, I'm just waiting for this thing to be over. It was kind of a letdown.
And
almost.
Well, I'm glad you were comfortable because
I was comfortable going into it, though. Like I told you guys yesterday, I just had a good feeling about yesterday.
I just couldn't allow myself
Understandable.
to feel good because been too close too many times.
I felt confident too, but I did wait until I think it was the bottom of the 7th before I opened up the 1920.
That's when I opened up Sinatra.
That's about when about when I got the Rowan's Creek out.
Yep. So that I waited. I was like, it's worth the wait. We'll. I don't want to celebrate too soon, but yeah, I had that confidence too. I don't know why, but you're right. Dansby with it, and watching that at bat too. To see him battle, he had two massive misses and just looked like he had no shot.
The guy threw 2 changeups middle, and he just swung through them.
Yep.
And I'm like, how nasty is that changeup? Because he looks lost, and they were right down the middle of the plate, belt high.
Which raises the question: why would you throw him a fastball? And the same thing happened in the other game that he homered in. Well, game 4 that he homered in. Off speed was killing him. They threw him a fastball. He goes oppo with it.
It was 11 home runs in the series.
To 2.
Which, I mean, that's something that the Braves, Max Fried specifically, has kind of been able to do over the last few years, is not give up a lot of home runs.
Mm-hmm. And minimize the damage when they do.
Yeah, I mean, both of those were solo shots. Both home runs they gave up were solo shots.
To Jose Altuve.
So, I mean, and when Maldonado got the hit, I was like, are you kidding me? This freaking guy? But
that guy, again, still. I'd be interested to know what he hit for the series.
Well, games 5 and 6, I think he had 5 hits. I mean,
yeah, making him look like Ted Williams.
He was just getting hits everywhere. But nothing they hit was hard. That was one of the reasons that those balls were falling, because they were just hit so soft just over the heads.
They weren't getting just over the heads and just in front of outfielders. Yeah. But those count,
Those count.
Contrary to exit velocity.
Well, they
those
don't
still
count.
get you on base.
They don't count if you don't get them in, though. And that's what the Braves were able to do. They were able to minimize that damage. They were able to do exactly what this Braves team has been able to do in the last half of the season, is get good starting pitching to the 6th inning, managing to your bullpen, because there's no reason that Max Fried should not have gone out for the 7th, but that's neither here nor there because we won, and I'm not griping about it. I was surprised that we did not see Luke Jackson in the 7th. Were you as surprised as I was?
Given the way Snitker has run that bullpen all year, I was a little surprised. But but they finally said, "Hey, Matzik is rolling. Let's run him back out there." I was a little surprised to see Will Smith.
I was not. I knew Will Smith was going to get the last out
in a 7-run game. Oh, that reminds me. So there was a tweet earlier today. I don't know if you saw it or not, but a picture from the locker room, the clubhouse
of
after
him.
the game. Yeah, of him expressing himself. Yeah, there is a sentiment in athletics that you're not supposed to write or say anything about athletes when they're not playing at their best, I guess. Will Smith converted 37 of 43 save opportunities during the regular season. And some of his misses were pretty bad. There was one in Washington in particular.
The Washington National. That was the one that broke
in August. Me. Will Smith is no Craig Kimbrell or whatever great closer you want to come up with.
He's not even Mark Melanson.
So, I mean, if you want to flip everybody off at the end of the year after you've had a fantastic postseason, he was the only closer with more than one save in the postseason across the entire postseason.
Yeah. Both leagues.
Had a 0.00 ERA. All right, fantastic postseason. Does not erase 37 of 43. And, again, looking horrid at times. But, I mean, you know, you got the last laugh. You're going to get a World Series ring. That's fantastic. It's for my team. That's fantastic. I get it. But be above that.
All I know is I knew he was going to get the last out. Snitker was going to those guys no matter what.
But you know what happens when you bring in closers in a non-save situation? They're not focused, you know, and the next thing you know, a 7-0 game is a 7-4 game.
I feel like you're probably focused if you're about if you're 3 outs away from the World Championship. But yes, in most cases that's probably true. I don't think that's the case in the Game 6 of the clincher in the World Series.
Well, maybe he should pitch every game like it's Game 6 of the World Series.
That'd be nice, wouldn't it? She'd pitch it like it's all postseason games because, boy, he was fantastic this postseason.
All right. Since I don't have a whistle and a flag, rein you guys back in.
Nonetheless.
Positive. You guys won.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Braves won.
Yeah. Oh, I'm ecstatic. I just don't like butt heads.
I will say, as somebody
Choose to think about the non-butt heads.
Paul Bird.
Like Freddie Freeman.
I mean, Paul Bird tweeted, was that the most represented a visiting team had ever been in a World Series? Because they had 2 sections full. There were 2 full sections.
I don't know how they managed to get sections together behind the dugout like that. I mean,
no, they all moved. When Houston left, all the Braves fans piled in.
So they were just all over well, it sounded during the night like they were all in the same place.
Well, that's because there were so many. They were just that loud. That was pretty impressive. I mean, Braves fans, obviously we know we have a nationwide fan base, but boy, did they show up last night.
And I guess Southwest to Houston.
49 one way, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
But seriously, it was a magical night for everyone. And just like one of my friends posted, you know, he said, this is for all of those in our generation. All of our grandparents are the ones who basically made us into Braves fans. For whatever reason, our grandparents loved the Braves. And there is an entire generation of guys my age who watched the Braves with their grandparents. And for those grandparents who aren't here, man, it's nice to be able to have that connection to them. And I'm glad that we were able to pull it off. It's a lot of fun. It's fun to watch, Mo. I know you enjoyed it too. Don't lie.
Positive.
Yeah.
I am positive
World
the
Series
Braves are
champs.
World Series champions.
Yep, there you go.
When we come back, we're going to talk a little NASCAR as it is the final week of the NASCAR season. The championship race on Sunday. Stick around. Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today returns. Terry the Chicken Man's on the line. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
Fast Stop Markets is a full-service, family-owned convenience store chain located in 14 locations throughout Middle and West Tennessee. For those in our listening area, you can find them in Columbia, Centerville, Lawrenceburg, Spring Hill, Dixon, and White Bluff.
Fast Stop partners with wholesale fuel brands like Shell, Marathon, and Exxon, delivering a consistent customer experience that is fast, friendly, and clean. If it's not already, It will soon become your go-to store to shop in town or on the road. Fast Stop Markets is proud to be keeping you moving in Tennessee.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ned Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com. Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Local high school sports and beyond. It's on Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today.
Welcome back in Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint, coming to you live from the Lee Company studio and WKOM 101.7 FM Front Porch Sports Headquarters. Also live on WZYXradio.net, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. Glad to have all of you along with us. It's a lot of fun talking about winning a world championship. It's also a lot of fun talking about a championship that will be won, because Sunday, the NASCAR championship champion will be crowned out in Phoenix. And honestly, there are 4 drivers left, but really there's 2. And I'm curious to see what, at least that's what I feel like. I'm curious to see what our resident NASCAR expert, Terry, the Chicken Man Wilcox, has to say about it. And we bring in Chicken Man, who apparently blew up in Philly last night. I don't know.
Well, not my house.
Oh, they got your house too, man. Sorry. Terry, what's going on?
I tell you, what a great night of last night sports-wise. Tell you, I just was glued watching Eastern Michigan beat Toledo 52-49. I hope I didn't miss anything else.
Did you see the catch that Eastern Michigan receiver made? That one-handed
I'll
catch?
tell you, yes. What a game. I mean,
52-49 sounds fun.
Yeah, that's action.
Oh, it was. But anyways, we're talking NASCAR, so. But yeah, it's the two Hendricks guys that are obviously the favorites. Kyle Larson is the best driver right now, but that doesn't mean he's going to win it. Chase Elliott won the championship last year by winning at Phoenix, and he's going to be tough. But I think it's Kyle Larson's race to lose. A bad pit stop, a penalty, a wreck, something like that can happen. But other than that, I think it's his to lose. So that'd be my opinion, and I'm pretty sure it's probably yours too, Chris.
I mean, yeah, these two guys have been up front all year long, and it's always been, well, more times than it hasn't. It's been number 5 in front of number 9. But you're right.
That's correct.
Anything can happen.
Yep.
That
As
being,
long as Denny Hamlin doesn't win any of the other 3, I'd be happy with.
well, if 11 wins, it may set off a chain of events in NASCAR fans that we don't want to see.
That's right. I mean, how stupid to go and after the race use your car as a weapon, try to run into the guy that won the race, and if he was smart enough and he was mature enough, he would realize that the guy that he's bumping in when the guy's trying to get his teammate of the other 2 guys that are going to be running for the championship this week, and he has nothing to lose if he wrecks him again.
Did you see this, Mo?
Bounty up.
Okay.
But anyways,
explain what happened after the race, because Mo hasn't seen it, and it is an absolute just jaw dropper.
Yeah, of course, Alex Bowman and Denny Hamlin were running to win the race. Bowman's not in the final 4, wasn't even in the final 8, but his job is not to run behind him. His job is to win, and he did. He went into the corner, a little hot, slid up, hit Hamlin wrecked. So that's right at the end, and after the race was over, the driver always goes around to pick up the flag from the flag stand, and he did a little spin around, and Hamlin followed him there, and put his nose to nose and started burning his tires up, pushing the 48 car. This was after the race.
Okay, so imagine you've got a car at the start-finish line, right?
Mm-hmm.
So 11 car, nose to nose, starts pushing him backwards.
Right. Yeah, when he's already unbuckled, too.
To which Bowman starts pushing back.
Of course.
Of course.
And then he spins around. He spins around with a donut and starts It was an absolute it was incredible to watch.
And then Hamlin looked like the fool that we've always known he is. That's all I can say. So that guy just they had no respect for me going in, and he lost quite a bit, I think, as far as I'm concerned. Doing what he did.
How big of a jerk do you have to be for your home state to boo you when you win?
Yeah, he gets booed, but he does get cheered though. Whenever he wrecks out, the crowd was
the crowd goes wild when he wrecks.
Absolutely, him and Harvick have turned into. They both need to just step aside and get out of the sport. The young guys are just embarrassing them and making them look more foolish than they are. Hamlin should have went. I mean, I thought Harvick should have went last year, but he stuck around one more year. I mean, he made it into the playoffs and that, but he's not his team, and it's not just him, but his team is not championship material anymore. All 4 of those cars in that stable went way back this year. Amarola is the only one that even looked like the only one that won a race. So, but yeah, and there's going to be a new guy. There's guys in the Xfinity and the Truck Series.
I mean,
coming up.
You've got 2 Toyotas in the top 4. I mean, there's only 4 in the entire NASCAR circuit, and 2 of them are in the finals.
And I tell you, Martin Truex, almost everything happened to him bad the last couple of weeks, and he was able to pull out and make it to the final 4. Keselowski tried everything he could. He just wasn't able to make it. But anyway, he got 2 Gibbs and you got 2 Hendricks cars. So one of them is going to be the champion. But like I said, the 2 Hendricks cars are the best 2 cars in the race. But again, anything can happen come race day.
Tell me, Tell me about Phoenix. Tell me what can we expect at Phoenix? What kind of racetrack is Phoenix? What do they do there?
Phoenix is a flat track. It's a weird shape. They just turned, as you, I know you probably know, Chris. They just moved the start finish line from where it was back to what used to be 3 and 4. So, but it's not an exciting race. I'm sorry. I'd rather have the championship on a short track, a road course, or a super speedway. I just don't like. I don't like that track. I don't know what it is. I can't believe NASCAR is going to be there again next year too. But put it at Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway if you want some excitement. That'd be a great track for it. But that's what you need. Put it at Martinsville. Put it at Bristol. A track where anybody can win the race, and if you get somebody upset at you, you're going in the wall. That's the bottom line. So, but I just don't like Phoenix. I don't know what it is. I don't. The most fans in the country are right here in the South, and they're being left out of the championship. So
you want it on a short track then, huh?
Absolutely, I want it on a track that you got to drive your car. Not some of the bigger tracks you get, the more it's about how it's set up and the crew chief and all that. I want the driver to be in control, and that's what you get on either a road course or a short track. Driver has to have is in more control of that car than they are on a bigger track. So, that's just my opinion. Should be yours.
I don't disagree with you. I agree with you completely. Even super speed. Super speedways are. For the most part, anybody can win those because you have to avoid crashes. But
right.
For the most part, it's whoever is in front is going to win because
whoever survives. Yeah, you got to survive, and there's a lot of pit stops and people. That stuff happens on the pit stop. That's where your pit crew comes in. But yeah, it's exciting. People. That's why the small tracks are the ones that people flock to. So. You go to a big track like a Kansas or a Michigan, boring as places you'll ever go watch a race, and the show is on TV ratings, so people don't even tune into them a lot of times. So, and then that's the only bad thing about like a Talladega or Daytona. It has nothing to do with the car, with the driver. It's just who's lucky enough to be where they are at the end of the race. As we've seen, there's more one-time winners at those tracks than anywhere in the country. So, I'll Derek Cope. So,
hey now,
I'm sorry. I think he actually won 2 races, but the only reason he won there is because Dale Earnhardt got a flat tire with taking a white flag. So, but anyways,
I liked Derek Cope. He wasn't a great driver, but I liked him.
Oh yeah, I got my buddy David is a gas man for a few years. So, I know Derek pretty good, but got to meet him and spend time with him. But he didn't. He's like a lot of drivers. He just doesn't have that last little bit of talent to get there or equipment. You got to have both. You can be talented as can be, but if you don't have the equipment, you're not going to win. So, and I tell you, got to watch out for him. The number 8, Tyler Reddick. Mm-hmm. That kid is aggressive, and he's done more with those cars than either one of the Dillons have done. I think he wins next year. I really do, but we'll see.
So tell us, 2:00 on NBC, right?
2:00. We'll have the pre-race at 1:00 on 101.7 WKOMradio.com, and then right after the 1 hour pre-race, the race green flag will fall probably about 10 after, 12 after 2, something like that. And I think by 5:30, hopefully you'll see Kyle Larson in victory lane. So that's my pick. So,
well, what's your pick on Friday night when Columbia Central hosts Mount Juliet? What do you see happening there?
So, anyways, what else you want to talk about? I tell you, I've looked at that offensive line of Mount Juliet. I love Columbia, and I want them to win. But as you know, they average about 295, 300 across the front. Our defensive line is going to have their hands full. I mean, they got guys from 245 up to 315 on that front row. That's going to be tough. You know, they got a nose tackle that's 6'4", 315.
Well, so did Nolansville.
What's that?
Said so did Nolansville.
Yeah, but they got the whole line is that way.
Yeah,
Their whole line is big. So, but I'm hoping for the best. We're home. Maybe that'll help us out. But we're going to have to score a lot of points like we did against Page. That's in order to pull it off, I think. So,
all right, there it is. Terry the Chicken with your NASCAR report. We'll get one more from him next week and talk about the champion, whomever it may be, a.k.a. Kyle Larson. And one more time to get silly with T. Willie, but we do have one this week. What you got for us?
The other day I held a door open for a clown. It was a nice gesture.
Nice gesture. He was a very nice gesture. Was he nice? He was nice. Terry the Chicken Man Wilcox, thanks, man. We appreciate it.
No problem.
All right. We have a great second hour because it's almost all college football. Tons of college football. This is going to be a fun second hour. We get into the playoffs. We get into some more conference realignment. Wild and Wacky Wednesday, and there's certainly some wild and wacky to get to. So, yeah, enjoy hour number 2 coming at you here in just a few minutes. Mo, you ever held the door open for a clown?
I have actually held the door for a number of clowns.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah.
That's right. JP killing us over here, man. All right, again, second hour coming your way. College football all the way down until Wild and Wacky. So come back with us on Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
Fast Stop Markets is a full-service, family-owned convenience store chain located in 14 locations throughout Middle and West Tennessee. For those in our listening area, you can find them in Columbia, Centerville, Lawrenceburg, Spring Hill, Dixon, and White Bluff.
Fast Stop partners with wholesale fuel brands like Shell, Marathon, and Exxon, delivering a consistent customer experience that is fast, friendly, and clean. If it's not already, it will soon become your go-to store to shop in town or on the road. Fast Stop Markets is proud to be keeping you moving in Tennessee.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ned Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
attacks and smokes one to deep left. This one's going supersonic. That is out of the ballpark. Whoa! Over the train tracks, it's 3-0 Atlanta. And Jorge Soler lands the first punch here in the top of the third inning.
The Braves are gonna have another year like they did in 95.
0-2. Come on now. Smith comes set of the tomahawk. 0-2 on the way. Chopper out to Dansby. Dansby throws to first base. Is this happening? It is! The Atlanta Braves are world champions. The Atlanta Braves have won the 2021 World Series in 6 games over the Houston Astros. Pure euphoria down on the field as they're bouncing all over the infield and in the booth.
No trash can juice today. The wait is over. Your Atlanta Braves are world champions. Now decked out in pearls and tomahawks. Your favorite Braves fans on this side of the Duck River. Here's the Hall of Famer Mo Patton and Chris Yao.
Yes, we are big fans of the Atlanta Braves here at Southern Middle Tennessee Sports today. Mo and JP and myself. Speaking for myself here, not a big fan of the College Football Playoff Committee. And
that didn't take long.
no.
Yeah, you know, when I walked in today, you looked a little disturbed.
I was
considering the euphoria, as Ben Ingram so eloquently put. You should have had that. You should still have that euphoria.
Well, when I left here last night and saw the top 4 had been announced,
Yeah,
when we walked out of the
literally
studio,
right when we walked out.
I nearly had a heart attack. I mean, did anybody see what happened coming?
I didn't see Alabama too.
No, I didn't see Alabama too.
None of us saw. We didn't even talk about Oregon, except for saying that if they were going to put them in, they had an excuse, I guess.
The only thing I said about Oregon is that they had to be ahead of Ohio State. They should be ahead of Ohio State because of the head-to-head, and they are. I didn't see them putting them all the way to 4 because I thought Cincinnati would be in there. I think we all did at some point.
And they're not.
They are not.
Can anybody give me a good reason why they're not? Did anybody hear anything? Is there an interview out there?
I don't mean to.
Mike Oresco of the American called it. It's a Power 5
Yep.
Invitational.
I mean, we know that now,
But
clearly.
I did hear a little bit of the committee chair, and I don't know his name, but I caught him talking with Reese Davis.
some guy named Gary Barta.
Okay. So he was asked about, of course, Cincinnati, and he mentioned the last couple of games for the Bearcats that were not impressive. You know, he mentioned a close loss to Navy. I mean, a close win to Navy, a close win against Tulane.
Right.
And I think the way that they played the last couple of weeks didn't help. Now, I don't know if that was the deciding factor, but it certainly didn't help them in potentially being in a top 14.
The committee has great respect for Cincinnati. The win at Notre Dame was a really impressive win, committee chairman Gary Barta said on the ESPN ranking show. But who else did they beat? Looking at the big picture, we feel 6 is the right spot for Cincinnati.
And that's where they're going to be. 6 is the right spot, and that's where they're going to be.
Mm-hmm.
They can't play their way up.
Nope.
The only way that they can get in is if everybody else loses again. Ohio State's got to lose again, Oregon's got to lose again, and Alabama's got to lose again. All 3 of them
Well,
have
you
to lose again.
know, Ohio State or Michigan State are going to lose because they play each other.
But Michigan State hasn't lost yet.
That's correct. But
And if
they're at
Michigan State loses to Ohio State has to lose again because they're going to go into the top 4.
Probably.
So this is my
And
point.
Michigan-
Everybody's got to lose again.
And if Ohio State beats Michigan State, there's nothing that says Michigan State falls below Cincinnati.
that's correct.
You're right. They could go to 5.
They would just swap places potentially, or Oregon would move up. Oregon potentially could lose again. There's no guarantee. They're playing awfully well right now, but they could lose again.
But all of that has to happen because Cincinnati can't play its way up.
That is correct.
And that's insane. They did everything you asked them to do. Everything you've asked them to do. They scheduled 2 top 10 teams. Not their fault that one of them stinks. They scheduled 2 top 10 teams. Okay? They beat both of them on the road in back-to-back weeks. That is good enough. It's as good of a resume as anybody else has got.
So apparently, I'm looking at this ESPN story on this where apparently Luke Fickell has a weekly radio show on Tuesday nights, and Luke Fickell, the coach at Cincinnati, and ask who the committee chairman is, and then ask if he played football. Apparently, Barta was later on at ESPN radio station and said, here's what I do know. I did play football, and I do know how hard it is to win any game. I don't care who you're playing. It's hard to win. But if you compare, you're talking about an undefeated team against another undefeated team or a team with one loss. That's the context in which that comment is made. Cincinnati is a great team. Desmond Ridder is a terrific leader and leading that team solidly. The comment I'm talking about is the overall strength compared to some of the other teams we were evaluating. So,
Talk for just a minute.
I mean, I can't say it any better than you just said it. I think Cincinnati, as a Group of 5 team, has done everything they've been asked to do in order to get into this mix. They beat Notre Dame at Notre Dame. All you can do is put together a schedule and play the people that are on it. And, you know, there's not a whole lot of people out there, you know, knocking down Cincinnati's door or ringing Cincinnati's AD's phone off the hook trying to schedule games with them. So all you can do is play the people that are on your schedule.
Well, Mo, we talked about this before, maybe a month ago. Cincinnati, with where they started the season in the rankings, they started high enough that we felt that was part of the biggest issue why we had not had a Group of 5 is because they had so many teams to
get over,
to jump.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Cincinnati started high enough, and then they got that win over Notre Dame. And you're thinking, okay, well, if there was ever a year that a Group of 5 would get in, this would be the year. And then Cincinnati moves up to number 2 in the AP poll, and you're thinking, okay, well, even furthermore, if there was ever a year to start them in the 4, this is it. But, you know, and, you know, before you get to what you're talking about, the Power Fives, I mean, you look at one, Michigan 7, which surprises me. Oklahoma is 8. That surprises me the other way. But then you look at any non-Power 5 schools, the rest of the top 25, you know how many there are? I'm seeing 2.
One of them's at 25.
Nope, 23 and 24. Fresno State and San Diego State.
I thought San Diego was 25.
No, Pitt is 25. Mississippi State is at 17. 17.
The heck have they done?
Well, it's just like they just started listing SEC teams at that point because Ole Miss is 16, Mississippi State is 17. How those two are that close together is beyond me. And Kentucky is 18.
Alabama, Auburn is 13.
Texas A&M is 14.
A&M's 14. Then you got 16, 17, and 18.
With BYU at 15.
NC State, Minnesota, Wisconsin. They're 19, 20, and 21.
And then Iowa.
And then Iowa's there.
You know why Oklahoma's at 8, right? This is the committee's way of saying, well, if you don't, they didn't play Tulane very well either. So if they put Oklahoma any higher, then they don't have that excuse for Cincinnati. So Oklahoma is a byproduct of them keeping Cincinnati out. Oklahoma is screwed.
Yeah, I don't know how Michigan's ahead of Oklahoma. I mean, Oklahoma has not looked good at all. Michigan hasn't looked like world beaters. They played really well in a close loss to a top 10 team, but I was surprised at Michigan. Of course, Wake Forest there at 9, Notre Dame at 10.
I don't know how you can justify having Wake ahead of Oklahoma, but I do think you could probably justify having them ahead of Michigan. I think under their thought process, it'd probably be Cincinnati, Oklahoma, Wake, Michigan.
You're telling me that a team that hasn't lost to anybody else on the year beat the team that you think is the 10th best team in the country.
And they're only 6.
And they're 6th.
That is the interesting point. By putting Notre Dame at 10, you value, obviously, Notre Dame. If you do that,
Then why don't you value Cincinnati's win over Notre Dame?
It's the second best win in the country this year.
No question.
After
Oregon beating
win.
Ohio State.
So, I mean, yeah, I don't think there's a close one. There's not a close third.
Michigan hasn't looked very – they beat Rutgers by a touchdown.
Yeah.
They beat Nebraska because they got lucky. They got absolutely lucky to beat Nebraska by 3 points.
Nebraska, who's firing their coach at the end of the year, if not sooner.
If you're telling me that's the 7th best team in the country, you're an idiot. But guess where Barta is the athletics director?
Do tell.
Iowa. So I'm done with this. This is why I don't watch major college football. This is why 15 years ago I stopped watching major college football because it was ridiculous. The BCS was ridiculous, who, by the way, has Cincinnati ranked number 2. The BCS computer would have ranked Cincinnati number 2. This committee thinks they're 4 spots lower than that, which is insane. But the FCS determines a real champion. That's exactly what they're doing here. The 12-team playoff had lost momentum. The idea of the 12-team playoff had lost some momentum. And there's no better argument for a 12-team playoff than this ranking right here.
There's no question, the NCAA and all that they do, the tournament, now the playoff committee, it's a television show. I mean, that element is, supplanted heavily in decisions that are made. And you can't deny that. And it's obvious, you add that human element, and that's going to happen.
I was told by an Alabama fan, well, outside of Michigan State, Cincinnati would be a 17-point underdog to everybody else in the top 4. I said, okay, do you happen to recall the line of the Texas A&M Alabama game? Because it was 17 points, buddy. They don't play football in Vegas. Let them prove that they don't belong there. This is the best opportunity to have a good group of 5 team, a team that you can justifiably put into the top 4, okay?
And you put them in there, and if they get their butt handed to them, then you can go back and say, see?
You have an excuse forever.
Yep.
And I'm fine with that.
And it's basically the same excuse that you should have for Oklahoma. We keep putting them in there. They keep getting beat.
That's my problem.
Yep.
Give them an opportunity to prove they don't belong.
Expand the playoffs.
Give them the opportunity that they have earned.
Or expand the playoffs.
I can't eat that concept that you're talking about. The human element, whether consciously or subconsciously these people are thinking about it, it has to play in there. Has to.
We'll keep talking about this on the other side of the break. We have more college football as well, so stick around. Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Day returns after this. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
Fast Stop Markets is a full-service, family-owned convenience store chain located in 14 locations throughout Middle and West Tennessee. For those in our listening area, you can find them in Columbia, Centerville, Lawrenceburg, Spring Hill, Dixon, and White Bluff.
Fast Stop partners with wholesale fuel brands like Shell, Marathon, and Exxon, delivering a consistent customer experience that is fast, friendly, and clean. If it's not already, it will soon become your go-to store to shop in town or on the road. Fast Stop Markets is proud to be keeping you moving in Tennessee.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ned Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com. Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Covering the teams you care about. It's Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Once again, live from the Lee Company studio. With the Hall of Famer Mo Patton, here's Chris Yao.
Welcome back in. Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint. Chris Yao, Mo Patton, JP Plant, coming to you from the Lee Company studio on WKOM 101.7 FM, WZYXradio.net, and, of course, watching live on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. We appreciate you guys who are out there. Here is what the college football playoffs would look like if there were 12 teams. Mo, start with the left side of the bracket.
Is that the 3-6?
Sure.
Okay. Your number 3 would be Michigan State. They would play the winner of Cincinnati, Oklahoma State, 6-11.
Which would be in Cincinnati.
So top 4 teams get a bye.
Right.
4 teams
Yeah,
get a bye.
in a 12-team bracket, the top 4 teams would get a bye. 3 being Michigan State, they would get a bye. 6 would play 11, so Oklahoma State would play at Cincinnati. 2 would be Alabama. They would play the winner of number 10 Notre Dame at number 7 Michigan. So
That would be fun.
Mm-hmm.
The other side of the bracket has number 4 Oregon would host the winner of Ohio State and Baylor, who is Ohio State the 5, Baylor the 12. Wake Forest and Oklahoma at 9 and 8 would get top-ranked Georgia.
Between the hedges.
No.
Oh, that's right.
That one would
second
be-
round, they go to the bowl.
And this is how the idea would be. The New Year's 6 would be your.
You can incorporate those, yeah.
You can
'Cause
incorporate
You've got
those at
6,
the-
yeah,
at that
as you
point.
mentioned. Mm-hmm.
And so, based on geography and the way that this year would play out, Georgia would host at the Peach Bowl, Oregon would be at the Rose Bowl, Alabama the Sugar Bowl, and Michigan State in the Fiesta Bowl, unfortunately. Because it would just be the closest.
yeah.
They're the 3 seed, and they're it's just the closest one to them. And then the semifinals would be at the Orange Bowl and Cotton Bowl with the championship in Indianapolis on January 10th.
because when I think college football, I always think Indianapolis.
I mean,
Well, Indy does a good job of hosting big events.
They do.
Indianapolis.
I mean, the Final Four is always big there. Of course,
Super
it's
Bowls
Indiana.
have been very
Well, it's also
Very
the
successful.
NCAA running that. I mean, so
Well, it's just like like in Alabama, the AHSAA wants to put all the championship events in Montgomery because they don't have to go anywhere. Understandably,
yeah.
I feel you. But yeah, so I mean, if there has ever been a good argument for a 12-team playoff, this year is it, because there is so much parity across college football. I mean, we know how good Georgia has been, but in reality, we don't know how good Georgia's been, because everybody they've beaten is not very good.
They've got a great defense, but the offense is
But even still,
Average.
Their defense, we don't really know.
no. I think you could.
Who
say
have
their
they
defense-
beaten?
I think their defense is good.
Clemson's offense could not score on us 3. Okay, and nobody on their schedule just goes, man. They really put a whooping on a good team there.
Well, they fairly dominated, I think, defensively. Doesn't matter who they're playing.
My point is that we don't know what Georgia really is.
As a full team, I agree with you.
We just don't know. We don't know how Oregon, to me, probably deserves to be higher than 4. I mean, just based off the fact that their only loss being when they didn't have their offensive coordinator in the building makes a difference to me.
Yep, and lost last second play to tie it by Stanford. Win it overtime. They lost in overtime. So
I mean, I certainly don't see Alabama at number 2. Because, again, I didn't think Alabama was very good either. They've not done anything. Beating Miami is starting to look better, but, I mean, 3 weeks into the season, that Miami win looked like trash. So, I don't know. I mean, this is the best possible year you could have a 12-team playoff.
Yeah, because, I mean, the parity is there for it. I mean, because nobody is – and, again, other than Georgia, from what we've seen to this point, based on who they've played, Georgia seems to be head and shoulders right now above everybody else, based on the results of the games that they have played against the teams that are on their schedule. I mean, that's all we got. So, I mean, we can talk about we don't know what they are, but we do know what we've seen.
Oh, they're very good. I just don't know that they're head and shoulders better than anybody on this 12-team list. I don't know that if they went to Notre Dame next week that they could win. Or
I would believe that based on what Cincinnati did to Notre
Yeah.
Dame at Notre Dame, that Georgia would win at Notre Dame.
And North Carolina,
Playing them close.
played them awfully close.
Yeah. I think Georgia wins at Notre Dame.
I think they win easily at Notre Dame.
We say again, I can't say that for certainty because I just
I get your point. You're trying to make, yeah.
I wish that Clemson were better. I wish that I had that litmus test,
I don't,
but I don't
because
you don't want Clemson to be. I get that too. But man, I just wish there was a way to really to look at this and say, yeah, we got four teams. I get that.
It's all objective anyway.
Yeah.
Subjective.
Subjective. It's not objective.
No,
clearly,
it's very subjective. I misspoke. Excuse me. I guess at least there's some structure of a playoff, flawed though it may be, to figure it out. Cincinnati's going to get screwed, but there's something. And
man, the BCS rankings really just angered me even more, to be honest with you. Because when I saw them come out, I thought, this can't be real. BCS rankings would have been Georgia, Cincinnati, Oklahoma, Alabama, Michigan State, Ohio State, Michigan, Notre Dame, Oregon at 9, Wake Forest at 10.
I guess the basis for Oklahoma being ahead of Alabama is Alabama has a loss and Oklahoma does not.
Yeah.
Because I can't see any basis really.
That's what
necessarily putting Oklahoma ahead of Alabama.
Well, it's the BCS. The BCS put a lot of weight on the zeros versus the ones.
Except for in Wake Forest's case.
Yeah. And then after that, it's like the committee basically copied the BCS homework. Oklahoma State, Baylor, Auburn, A&M, and here it finally changes a little bit. Ole Miss, and then the BCS has Iowa at 16. Iowa's not even in the top 25 for the committee.
Yeah, they
are.
22.
Are they?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, this only went up to 20. Sorry. I didn't see that. The BCS also has UTSA at 17. So there's that. And Houston, top 20.
Yeah.
After you just said that. So, the top 10 are all the same teams, are just in a different order.
Yeah. Real quickly on the Georgia, just, it got me thinking, looking at their schedule. 10-3 over Clemson, 56-7 over UAB, 40-13 South Carolina, 62-0 Vanderbilt, 37-0 Arkansas. Now, granted, that was when Arkansas was 8th in the country, obviously, but still, at that point, Arkansas was a good team. 34-10 over Auburn, who's 13th in the rankings. 30-13 over Kentucky, who's right behind them, and then 34-7 over Florida. So they've given up double digits only 3 times, shut out two teams.
Auburn's their best win
right now, and Kentucky a close second.
No, Arkansas is a better win than Kentucky. Kentucky showed us what they were.
At the time.
And then at the time doesn't matter.
Well, but
yeah,
you look where
at the
Kentucky
time mattered, then Cincinnati beating Indiana at number 10 would matter.
But
Arkansas
is not even the conversation, though, now.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
So you can only look at it now.
Yeah, but I still think that Arkansas is a better team than Kentucky. I mean, Arkansas went into Texas and beat Texas. And I don't think Texas is great, but I think Texas is better than anything Kentucky's beaten. Kentucky's played 2 good teams. They got beat.
That's true.
So, I mean, they're going to get beat again this week. Anyway, I think Georgia certainly has proven that they belong at the top of this list, because in the world of college football right now, they are dominating everybody that they play.
Yeah,
and I'm fine with that.
And they started.
I'm just saying that
top.
when they play somebody who's just as good, I don't know what's going to happen.
Who is just as good?
Yeah, that Who are you waiting for
Talent
them
level.
to play? Who are
I'm
you
talking-
waiting for them to
So
play?
who talent-wise, who has the talent Georgia does?
I don't know. Alabama, maybe. Not really. To me, I think Alabama is probably the 6th or 7th best team in the country. I mean, just I don't know. Talent-wise, Alabama's pretty good. Coaching-wise, they got issues. So there's that. I don't know. I don't think that Auburn is some, great win
For Georgia?
for anybody.
I don't know how you address your concerns.
No, there's not a way. I mean, again, it's a 12-game season and you have a player conference. Okay, I get that. There's not a way. We're going to find out. It's going to play itself out in the end, but apparently not with Cincinnati involved.
Apparently not,
So that's all I got.
and that's disappointing.
No kidding.
So both of you think there is zero chance Cincinnati can?
No, there's a chance, but everybody's got to lose again.
I'm asking you. Do you see that happening?
No.
Do you see a
I
path?
don't see enough. I don't see enough of these teams ahead of Cincinnati losing for them to get into the top 4 from where they are. I don't see the right combination.
The
of
only way
losses.
they can get in is if Alabama, Oregon, and Ohio State lose. Period. All 3 of them have to lose again. And even then, I'm not sure that Oklahoma doesn't get in over them if Oklahoma wins the Big 12.
I just don't see enough of the wins that this selection committee is looking for out there for Cincinnati.
We talked about it. Every time we talk about Cincinnati against the spread, that they had to beat the spread in every game.
And they've not.
That's the only way that they were going to get in, and they haven't done
The
it.
last 2 weeks.
But I can tell you this. I don't know if it was Luke Fickell or not, but if I'm Luke Fickell, I'm scoring as many points as I can. And after the game, I'm going up to the coach and saying, I'm sorry. It's the only way it's the only way that we can get the respect we deserve.
And I think the other coaches that he's going
Will
to play
understand it.
in the group of 5 will understand. I hope.
Well, and
I would think so, too.
I think Cincinnati has probably tried to score as much as they can, and I think that's probably why they're at 6.
I don't know. I mean, Navy is a team that runs a triple option. You don't get a whole lot of opportunities, and Navy's not bad.
Yeah, I mean they're running the ball a lot, and
We saw
Navy's
what
not good.
and they're running the clock. So
I mean,
possessions are going to be down.
That was a 1-possession game, was it not?
no.
2 possession?
They won by 14.
Yeah.
Who do they play
the-
next?
I don't know.
Oh.
But it doesn't matter because they're not getting in. I mean, we just found that out because you can't play your way into the top 4.
Well, SMU losing to Houston hurts because that takes away another undefeated
Right.
that they would have played
In the
regular season.
championship. With,
They have
yeah.
they have Tulsa
They play Tulsa Saturday.
and game day will be there. And that's going to be a very, very, very angry crowd. They have SMU left. SMU losing to Houston killed them.
That's what, yeah. Doesn't hurt.
This Tulsa team is 3-5.
Now they'll have to play Houston in the championship game. And if Houston keeps winning, it maybe helps you.
Not enough.
Where is Houston? Is Houston?
Houston's not in the top
They're
25
not even in the top 25.
Yeah.
in the playoff rankings. Not yet, anyway.
And probably won't be. I mean, there's nobody Houston can beat
To get in there?
to get in.
Right.
And the only team that they played worth the crap was Texas Tech, and they got beat. So
I'm still every time I see Mississippi State, I'm like, is that real?
oh, you're right.
Am I way off on that
No.
about Mississippi State being
No.
in?
No.
I think, I mean, sometimes they're good.
They're 5-3. They're 5-3, and here, they beat Louisiana Tech by a point at home. They beat NC State. They lost to Memphis, who is not a good team this year. They lost to LSU. They beat Texas A&M. They got drilled by Alabama. They beat Vanderbilt, and then they beat Kentucky.
Kentucky is overvalued. as I said.
I don't. Whew. Yeah, I'm.
And just for the record, Oregon, the only team that Oregon can lose to right now is maybe Utah on the road. That's it. That's the only chance they have to lose, or the championship game, which again is going to be either Utah or Arizona State. It's just not. There's no path. Alabama could lose to Auburn.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. 2-loss Auburn. They win the SEC championship game. I guess they're in. I don't know. It's Wild and Wacky Wednesday. The college football playoffs are wild and wacky. It's ridiculous. When you come back, we'll give you the weirdest and wildest news from across the world right here on Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Stick around. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
Fast Stop Markets is a full-service, family-owned convenience store chain located in 14 locations throughout Middle and West Tennessee. For those in our listening area, you can find them in Columbia, Centerville, Lawrenceburg, Spring Hill, Dixon, and White Bluff.
Fast Stop partners with wholesale fuel brands like Shell, Marathon, and Exxon, delivering a consistent customer experience that is fast, friendly, and clean. If it's not already, it will soon become your go-to store to shop in town or on the road. Fast Stop Markets is proud to be keeping you moving in Tennessee.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ned Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
It's Wild and Wacky Wednesday on Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today with the two zaniest guys this side of the Duck River. It's like you joined a circus or something. Here's Chris and Mo.
Welcome back in Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. We are in the middle of Wild and Wacky Wednesday, which is always fun, but we didn't get to a couple of quick little college football stories in that last segment because, you know, we got off on tangents and whatnots. Pete
Thamel.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
Reports that Conference USA has officially invited Liberty, Jacksonville State, New Mexico State, and Sam Houston to join the league. The potential of paying a $2 million entrance fee appears to be the last major issue because $2 million to get in, whatever it is to get out, plus we're not sure if JSU's paid the OVC yet. How much money y'all got over there, Greg?
Hey,
Clearly I know where my donations are going.
to the OVC and to conference and to
the A-Sun.
Yeah.
And apparently the Conference USA, $2 million to get in.
Yeah.
It's like buying out coaches.
Mm-hmm.
It's like trying to get out of your cell phone bill to go to a new cell phone provider, and you got to pay. You got to pay the phone off. You got to pay the bill off.
Mm-hmm.
This ain't working for
Make
me.
you think twice.
Then you got to pay a deposit to get to the
That's right.
next one, and then buy a phone there too.
Yeah, that's right.
This is ridiculous. So yeah, I'll be interested. I mean, a good thing for Liberty, they don't have to pay anybody to get out.
Because they're not in.
Well, I guess they do.
Oh, they're in the A-Sun for
They're in
everything
the A-Sun
else.
for everything else. Boy, the A-Sun's pissed.
Well, who are they more pissed at, Liberty or J-State?
Got to be Jacksonville. Because Jacksonville was the catalyst that started this whole thing.
Yeah.
I got to think anyway. I assume they were. And why would you go to the A-Sun and say, look, this is just better geographically for us, and then go to a conference that has New Mexico State in it?
Well, you go to the A-Sun because it is geographically, it makes sense. You go to Conference USA because of more money.
Because based on what? Stadium? The stadium TV deal?
I would imagine Conference USA has a better TV deal than the A-Sun.
I don't know that it's worth all the money you're paying out to get there, though.
I would also imagine that from a competitive standpoint, you feel like Conference USA is closer to a multi-bid league in your various championship sports than the A-Sun?
Since when?
Well, you look at basketball, for instance.
Okay. Since when? Since Memphis left.
Well,
Conference USA's not been a multi-bid league in basketball in a decade.
And A-Sun has been when?
This is my point is it's the same. I don't know what the difference is.
I think Conference USA has more weight,
Potential?
more weight than the A-Sun.
Now they do?
I just think
With
in
everybody
general,
gone?
their name. I think the name does.
I don't see it.
And you might very well be right.
I mean, I don't know how this Conference USA has any weight at all to pull.
And again, you may very well
You may
be
be right, but the conference name and brand has more weight than the A-Sun brand. Is my point.
Tell that to Lipscomb.
Well,
I mean, yeah, Middle went and won a game, but so there's that. Not too long ago.
Middle went and won 2 games.
Yeah, you're
actually.
right.
So
Giddy Pants, baby.
just for the sake of accuracy there.
But without Middle and without Western, this is a conference with scraps and no identity.
No.
Other than Conference USA. Oh, we're nationwide. Clearly you are, because it's the only way you can get anybody to come to your stupid conference.
it's just been around longer. That's the only thing the conference has going for it right now. Is it is a brand that has been around longer. It is more recognizable than the A-Sun.
There's that. Which don't call them the Atlantic Sun.
Yeah.
They don't like that.
No, the A-Sun.
Because I guess they don't want that geographic connotation there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting for sure.
Hang on.
Hanging.
Because, yeah, Conference USA was founded in 95.
Okay.
The A-Sun was founded in 78.
Oh, was it? Well,
Conference USA was a
but it's been an FBS
Yeah.
conference. A-Sun has not.
okay, but we're not talking just about football here. That's the thing. We are not talking about football.
This particular conversation, to the point was made. You are correct, but in terms of why
this is my
everything
point.
goes back to football.
That's the only reason you go is to play FBS
Yeah.
football.
Yeah,
That's it. That's it.
correct.
And it doesn't make sense to do that. Not to pay. It doesn't make sense to pay this much money just to play FBS football, because then you're still paying more money. scholarships, higher coaching salaries, more facilities, which
I think it's a bigger piece of the pie, though, too, right?
do you get? I mean, I guess.
I mean, you would think.
I can't say for certain, but it's my general understanding that when you move up, there's a bigger pie to
get pieces up.
Otherwise, how do you afford all
All
that
of
stuff?
that.
There's more money involved to be made. Yes, you're spending more money, but you're making more money just because you're there.
No, maybe so.
Theoretically.
Yes, in theory.
I mean, a conference with FIU, Sam Houston, New Mexico State, JSU, Liberty, and whoever else is left, to me, doesn't sound anything better than the ASUN. To me, I mean, it's the level of those programs is nowhere better in any sport, football otherwise, than the ASUN. Jacksonville State has already beaten FIU last year. I mean, you can't tell me that the football conference at the ASUN is not more competitive, and most of those teams would beat FIU and other Conference USA teams that are left on the football field.
So maybe they're going to win a championship in Conference USA. Then.
That's what I said. They're going back. They're going to the OVC of the FBS. Oh, we can't play here. They're kicking our tails. We need to go somewhere we can win. Maybe they should just go to the ACC. They have success there.
There you go. There you go.
Anyway, Jamie Chadwell to TCU, maybe, maybe not.
Short list, according to SB Nation's Frogs O' War.
Frogs of War.
Sonny Dykes and Billy Napier, leaders in the clubhouse, along with Jeff Traylor, who just signed a 10-year, $28 million deal at UTSA. Oof. So
That don't mean anything.
It does not.
It's also got a $7.5 million year one buyout. So
That's a lot of money.
It'd be an awfully bad look. It'd look almost as bad if Jeff Traylor left UTSA to go to TCU.
As JSU leaving these.
Boom. Yeah.
Cost him more, though.
And Jamie Chadwell,
There you go.
head coach at Coastal Carolina. Other phone calls, Justin Fuente, who apparently was OC at TCU before he went to Memphis. I had either forgotten that or did not know that.
I did not know that.
So, so there's that, and he's probably going to be available.
There you go. Mo, you like your chicken wings, right?
Me?
I do.
How
You
much?
pointing at me for chicken wings or music?
No, music.
Okay.
How much do you like chicken wings? Like scale of 1 to 10.
On a scale of 1 to 10, solid 7 or 8.
Okay, this guy likes them more, but he only likes one particular style because if you don't get him the style that you like,
You might get shot.
you might get shot, and he doesn't care.
Wow.
He don't care if you're his dad. 30-year-old guy near Salt Lake City angry at his dad last month because he bought chicken wings for dinner but didn't buy the kind he wanted. It's not clear the flavor or variety he was expecting, but they started arguing. His son grabbed a gun, fired a shot, but missed. Dad ducked. The bullet went through a wall and into their neighbor's apartment. It ended up lodged in that person's dishwasher. They ended up wrestling over the guns. Son fired 2 more shots into the ceiling, but luckily they got lodged in another neighbor's floor and didn't hit anyone.
Jeez.
Son is facing charges for attempted murder and other poultry-related crime. A 20-year-old woman in central Pennsylvania is facing charges after she got into an argument with another woman at Walmart, grabbed a package of cold chicken, and nailed her in the back of the head with it.
It's pretty foul.
Give it to him. That's good.
Well done.
Oh.
Well done. And, because of all of this flailing around,
Little chicken music.
little chicken music.
Well,
Other poultry-related news. Yeah.
We're gonna move to another type of food here.
By the way, how about the dad ducking?
Yeah.
Still got some
There you
moves,
go.
huh?
Hey.
Hey,
Old man
Impressive.
strength.
Old man. Old man quickness.
he didn't. He got the wrong chicken, so he had to make sure he had a duck.
Was it a?
Sorry.
You get a? I'll give you a ding. I'll give you a ding. Yeah. I'll give you that one.
This is all food related today, so food is
Hey.
good. Pizza loving car burglar caught red-handed.
Tomato sauce?
Yeah.
A man
It
in
was
Florida
handed a
named
tomato sauce jar, yeah.
A man in Florida named Dewey Smith did not get the memo. He broke into several cars last Wednesday, and he did it while eating a pizza. The police found marinara sauce on the handle of one vehicle. Down the street, they found an empty pizza box, which directed them to another car that had been broken into. A neighbor nearby told police he saw a man who that night had a plastic bag filled with credit cards. He also stole the remnants of a Little Caesars pizza that she'd tossed. So the neighbor tossed the pizza. He stole the pizza, went and got some credit cards, didn't go buy a second pizza, I guess. I don't know. Maybe he did. They followed the trail of marinara sauce. And he still had the bag of credit cards, but he was done eating pizza. And he told deputies, quote, "You got me red-handed." You guys been to Paducah, Kentucky lately?
I've not.
lately.
They must have really good fast food there, because Paducah Police Department say a victim was sleeping when his 23-year-old girlfriend, Emily Darnell, woke him up and asked him to take her to a fast food restaurant. He told police that he told her no and went upstairs to get away from her, but she followed him. And then he went back downstairs. So there, she grabbed a knife and stabbed him.
Oh.
Yep, shoulder, arm, and wrist. The ambulance took him to the hospital, and she was arrested on charge of second-degree assault, domestic violence, and was jailed at the McCracken County Jail.
I will say.
I don't know what she wanted, but whatever it was not worth getting stabbed for.
No, I think.
I would have just gone to
Rarely is it.
to Crystals.
Well,
or whatever.
I've not been to Paducah, but I will tell you this: if you're ever headed to Paducah, get off the beaten path, go to Grand Rivers, go to Patty's 1880s settlement.
Oh yeah. You talked about that last year,
When
right?
we were up at Paris, yeah.
1880s settlement.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank me later.
All right. I'll thank you now.
All
Thank you,
right.
Mo.
Thank you.
thanks for the help. I
That'll need to wait.
I have been to Paducah. We took a trip. I took a trip and took Sarah into Cairo, Illinois, just so that she could say she had been to Illinois, and then we came back. And scariest place I've ever been in my life was on that bridge.
That wasn't in your top
It
five.
wasn't in my top five because I just remembered it. I'm very sad about it because it would
For
top
real
the list.
scary.
Scared you
huh?
so much you forgot about it.
Yeah, well, there's a video. I'll show it to you.
Probably.
It's bad.
It's bad.
I've put it out of my mind is how scary it was. All right, come back tomorrow. It's going to be a great show. We have high school football from Post to Wire. So excited about it. Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today returns 4 o'clock. For Mo, Patton, and JP Plant, I'm Chris Yao saying have a great day and stay cool, Columbia.